All right, hey everybody, TG here. Let's make sure we got everything up and running with us. Continues to be a good day for the market, and pretty much everything that I was saying for the market being bullish into the 4th of July is pretty happy about that. Tesla's having a fantastic day. We actually did some of that, taking some profits, about 75% on the leveraged ETF. So yeah, fantastic. We're doing great with those kind of things, and then seeing quite a few other opportunities. What I wanted to show you here, actually, since we're live on X and YouTube and Meta, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys leave comments if you want. I'll be able to see you currently if you're in there live, and we can kind of talk about that. But if you come over to the KE report, so kereport.com, I'm with them every 3 weeks, sitting down, talking to Corey, having a good time, and their audience is primarily looking at longer term, investor type stuff, and apparently they love precious metals. And so we were talking about that, and I said, yeah, they're getting pretty darn close. I don't quite see the trigger yet. Again, this was yesterday that I recorded this with them, and I said, yeah, it's looking good. I mean, GDX is pulling back into the weekly 21. I said, this is the spot where I would start looking for it to find support and start moving up. I'm just kind of looking for that trigger. And lo and behold, today tends to be the day where things start to pop up. So yeah, Adi, nice. Yeah, I saw that you had leaps on uh, silver and gold and all that. So good job with you. And if we're going to be doing some shorter term stuff, you can wrap some positions around that too. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit because, yeah, I just want to make sure you guys know this. You can go over to KE Report. I'm going to also, I'll put this on my channel. I'll have to figure out how to do that since I'm in my personal account right now, but I'll have to get this posted on my Profit Pilot YouTube channel also. And then you can also go over here, KE Report, and find me from yesterday. And then if you guys like what I say and want to come over to the Moxie room, we have this simplertrading.com/Moxie, and that's where you guys can find more information about me and what I do. All right, so let's kind of look into this and dive into a few things. Just most immediately, I mean, look at this. The market's doing great. Very, very happy with this. This is what I've been talking about for at least 2 weeks leading up to the 4th of July. I said, hey, the market tends to be bullish into the 4th of July. Even if it's sideways, that's going to be bullish. So don't think any ill wills about the market right and through here. And what we can see is the market has mostly gone sideways into support. I mean, this is really pretty impressive that you can see here the last few days. It's really just gone sideways into this area and then finding some support through there. And I would say, originally I was looking for price to come down to the daily 21. Well, it didn't do it by going down. It did it by going sideways. And you can see right here that price came into, pretty close. It's pretty close into the 21, and then we start moving up. So things are looking pretty good. Moxie indicator continues to look great. We can see here that the Moxie indicator down here was our pullback. That was pretty accurate. But then since then, and those of you in the Moxie room, you guys know that I've talked about this, gosh, I think even yesterday in the room. I said, look at this. There's your double bottom. There's your positive divergence, right? Um, yeah, so those of you in the Moxie room, we discussed here the other day how the Moxie indicator was spread. And what that tells me is, okay, sure. So, the momentum and energy is to the upside, but it's not that great because you can see here that there's a big gap between the two indicators, meaning they're going the same direction, but they're not really happy with it. And so, yeah, we got to move to the upside. But look what the Moxie indicator told us, that it wasn't really ready. That wasn't the move. And sure enough, we got a heck of a pullback. Now, this was, the powers that be and whoever's running the market, and just it's amazing how they make this happen. But they needed to figure out a way to build room in order to go up for the 4th of July. And so what they did is they ran this up to a double top, and then they just shook all the weak hands out and just ran it down for Friday into Monday. And that then built a double bottom to then where we could continue to go up today. And look at the Moxie indicator. You can see this thing, it went from being very spread and not very strong to looking like one line that is very strong. Okay. So again, I will harp on this all day, every day. This is the power of the Moxie indicator. This is why it works for us. And this is something that in the room, in the Moxie room, I pointed this out yesterday and said everything's looking pretty good. And then you can even see here, if we zoom in on the 15-minute time frame, Look what it did yesterday. Yeah. Come on, computer. I'm on my laptop. It is 4th of July, so I'm out at my wife's family's beach cabin in Washington. So we're tucked away in a little bedroom. And then, we get an early day today with the market. So I'll be out. The weather's finally starting to get nice. It should be warm today. We're going to get on the boat. It's going to be a good day. But look what it did yesterday, right there. Perfectly got over the 15-minute 50 and then tested the 15-minute 50 and up it went. This is looking great. So very happy about this. Now, I will put a caveat out there, guys. Okay. I would like to think that Friday, because remember, today's a half day. Um, Tomorrow, Thursday, the market's closed for 4th of July, and then Friday we have a full day. I would like to think that Friday is kind of going to be a snoozy day. Okay. The big traders are going to be off. People aren't going to really be around. They're going to be out in the Hamptons, all that kind of stuff. So, would be like to a calm day. Now, that being said, it could also be an opportunity that they sell it again because we are getting just a little bit stretched and we are up here at resistance. And I could see that maybe they take the run that we had, run up into 4th of July, and then maybe we sell off just a little bit. I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe we go sideways. I'd prefer sideways, but it does seem like we're getting just a little bit up here, and I don't know if we're just going to break out. So I could see a little bit more of a pullback before we go again. But that being said, any kind of pullback into support and through here should continue to be good. I like what's happening here. Things are looking pretty good. And yeah, okay. Jobs report on Friday. Yeah, we'll have to see. I just don't know if that's going to matter. Yeah. Do you remember Seattle summer, 4th of July to Labor Day? Yep, those are. Oh, you're from your Amazon days. Nice. Yeah, those were the best days. Basically, the weather up here doesn't really get consistently good and warm and sunny until the 4th of July. So that's where people really kind of draw the line. And it without fail this year, it's going to be doing that. In fact, the weather looks like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're going to get close to the high 80s and sunny. So it's going to be great. We're going to take the boat out again. We actually put our boat in the water last week. We went out for the first time yesterday, did some wake surfing. We'll be doing that again on Saturday. All right, so we got the SPY there, and then I guess we'll talk about the precious metals since I was discussing that earlier. So if we look at silver, and remember, guys, I was on the KE report discussing this. Come on, computer. There we go. And so what you can see, and this is where I was saying for silver, because Corey was asking me specifically about silver. And I said, yeah, hey, it's pulled back into the daily 50. Generally, I like that. And given that this was a audio interview that we're doing, I talk about charts quite a bit, but when it's off, I couldn't mention at the time, but you can see there's your double bottom and there's your positive divergence. I mean, there's the Moxie indicator telling you. And what I was looking at is that price did get over the hourly 50, but I just didn't know if it was going to wiggle around a little bit more. But I said, yeah, this is looking really close. And now that I see it too, check this out. It came back. Yeah, look at that. Came back and perfectly tested prior support. So there you go. There was a prior high, and the price came back and perfectly tested that. And now it's up quite a bit. Obviously, would have been great to get in yesterday, but just didn't. I was looking for a little bit more of an assured thing, and today looks like that day. So we did take a position on this. I am chasing a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I'm prepared for the idea that if this does pull back, that's going to be okay. And so, we put on a starter position. But yeah, yesterday, look at that. Right over the hourly 50. Looks pretty good. Just didn't know today was going to be a jump up kind of day. So, oh well. But very happy about this. So take another position. And you know what? If it pulls back, great. We can add more. But then I think we're going to continue to move higher. I just don't see any reason why we wouldn't. And if you look at this, doesn't that look like a nice uptrend? It sure does. So I've been watching this. I missed the first major move right here off the lows. That's fine. If this thing's going to go, it's going to keep going, and you can find other opportunities to get in. And I think that, I think right about here seems pretty good. So we got in. And Adi, you said you are in gold. So Adi, when did you buy your leaps? I don't really do options too much. I do leverage ETFs, but kind of curious. So were you able to get into those leaps before gold actually broke up and out? because in through here, we talked about it. I didn't take any trades, but we could see that gold did set up pretty nicely. March. Let's see, when was March? Well, right about here. Okay, so yeah, you even, not too bad. So you even got into leaps even off of the first move, right there. And you can see it kind of like silver. Silver kind of popped up and, wait for a little bit of pullback and then it up goes. But as far as gold, look at this right there into not only the weekly 21, but also the weekly 30 and the weekly 50. That was a pretty good juncture right there. So, and then you just, we got overbought. You could definitely see that. And look, it's been going sideways to down. And now it looks like to me that it wants to go higher. And if we look at this, same kind of deal. Just been waiting, being very patient, waiting for these things to kind of come down. And check this out. Those of you in the Moxie room, and you guys know my patterns. What do we see here on that daily chart? Look at that. You guys see it? Leg, heel, arch of the foot. Well, gosh, I'd like to call that the ball of the foot, but there is one move down there. So, basically there's the ball of the foot, and then there you go. There's your elf toe. There's an elf shoe. I love it. I love it. Absolutely so good. And then, yeah, even at that, look at that. A nice 50, 250 maneuver. Perfect. And then you can see here, there's your level. There's your positive divergence. And there is your pullback into the hourly 50. And now you got that pop up. So, yeah, if I was a little bit more aggressive, could have taken a shot on this yesterday. But, yeah, I didn't really want to. And so, you know what? Hey, I got the next day. I'm okay with that. Because if these things are going to go, they're going to go. And like I said on silver, if they're going to pull back, you got to just be prepared for it right there. Okay. So even if you feel like you're chasing it and there's a pullback, be prepared for that. And then we keep going. Now, I don't think this is going to happen because I think that was the tail end of that particular move. But given that we are in this area, I think we're going to keep going. So, yeah, do what you guys need to do. Those of you who are out on YouTube, Facebook, and X, if you guys like what I'm doing here and want to see us start trading some of the gold and silver, and especially since I was starting to look into this yesterday because of that KE report, this is an area we're going to be doing. So yeah, it's looking good, and even GDX looking good. So pretty happy about these things. I'll show you guys one more that we're looking at. In fact, let me make sure that I answer Parvez. I know you had a couple questions, so let me go look back at those tickers so we can look at that. CART, I got to say, I didn't expect this to actually work out today. I thought this was going to pull back, but since the market's still pretty strong, it's up today. So we are already positive and profitable on this one. I wish I had a bigger position, but I'm going to have to be patient and see if we can find that pullback. So we got in yesterday and we were up just a little bit. And you can see this looks to me like the beginning of a move because it is finally able to break past the daily 50. So yeah, hopefully this doesn't just keep screaming. I'd like to see if it kind of comes down a little bit more. I think there will be opportunity. And we'll just have to keep loading up when that happens. But guys, look, again, there's your Moxie price trigger right there. Okay. And if you want to see even, here's your level. Here's your positive divergence. Okay. So this is why the Moxie indicator works. It's powerful. It gives you good timing indications. It works. Okay. So if you guys want to come pick it up, I'm going to be working on a class for day trading if anybody's interested in that. And we'll get into day trading the indices coming up too. Okay, so Parvez, let's look at WTTR. Let's see what this one looks like. I always like to look at the higher time frames first. And I got a lot running on my computer here, so if it's a little bit slow, if you just bear with me. So yeah, WTTR, looking pretty decent. I really don't know what it is, except it says energy services, so fine. You can see here it's been holding the monthly 10 right there, and you can see even, let me draw a better line right there, and there you go, new highs. So yeah, I'd say it looks looking pretty good. It's kind of, hits the third ATR, pulls back, third ATR pulled back. So just be aware. It's got these little ebb and flows about how that goes. Doing all right so far. And in through here, it seems to me like, yeah, it's kind of hit this upper spot a little extended. Maybe we're seeing some negative divergence here. And so Parvez, as far as this goes, I don't know what your position is. I don't know how you're trading this, but it seems to me you're probably okay with a longer term position. If price is going to hold the daily 50, great. It'll keep going up from there, and this would probably be a decent spot. If it doesn't, and it wants to do something like, gosh, even what silver did, and it dips a little bit below the daily 50 before going high, okay, just be prepared for that. And then from here, if it is going to go up now, I'd like to see price continue to stay over the hourly 50. Okay, you do have earnings coming up. Anything goes for earnings. But otherwise, yeah, look at this thing. It is broken out nicely, and it's in a pretty good uptrend. So WTTR doing just fine. And MRVL, looking at this one, let's get that ticker. Come on, here we go. So Marvell, if I'm not mistaken, this is in the semiconductor space. Let me know if I know this is an old school name for us. Yeah, technology. Also looks pretty good. Now, I gotta say, I like AMD. We are in AMD. Uh, I think that the air in the room got taken out because of NVIDIA. Basically, everything went there. Even AVGO, a lot of money went into AVGO and NVIDIA, and the rest of the market kind of just sucking wind. So I'm kind of hoping that more money starts to come out of those names and gets distributed around the market. So that being said, I am an AMD, and this Marvell is looking pretty good too. I got to say, look at that. It hasn't done anything yet, but that looks like a pretty good flag into the monthly 10. And you can see here a nice, I mean, just got to get past that. But otherwise, look, monthly 10, monthly 10, monthly 10, and where are you at? You're at the monthly 10. Even the weekly chart, nice flag into the weekly time frame. You got the weekly 21, you got the weekly 30. Yeah, you got to squeeze. I mean, what's not to like about this? The only thing I'll say is apparently you've had to be patient. Okay. So I don't know where you are or what's going on with this thing, but you just got to be patient. I don't see anything that looks bad. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's go over here to the daily and hourly. Same kind of deal. Uh, Eventually, when this thing does work and does take off, you'll see it. You might be a little bit late if you're not already in, but you'll see it. We want to actually see things hold the moving averages. You can see every time it's tried to move up the moving average, it eventually breaks and breaks and breaks and breaks. Okay. And that's because it's still on a flag. Okay. Still on a flag. But whenever this thing gets going, it'll actually hold these moving averages and break out and get going. So if you were okay just kind of sitting on this position, it sure looks to me like it will work out eventually. Yeah, nice. I got two people asking me about Bitcoin. Brighter side, good to see you. Parvez, you're just watching and waiting for the right entry. I don't know. Again, I don't know what your trade style is and what your methodology and your time frame and all that stuff. But if you just said I like Marvell and I think it's going to go higher, I wouldn't dispute that. I think that is I think that looks very reasonable. Okay. So if you want to just buy some stock and get in, or if you're doing an option trade, if you're doing option, make sure you give yourself enough time because obviously it's been going sideways for a very long time. And then, so yeah, we can take a look at, I'll show you AMD real quick because it's kind of the same topic, and then I'll get into Bitcoin. D, I don't know what you're saying here. Not ORCL, which I think is Oracle, but SRE. Oracle looks extended. Can you clarify that a little bit while I'm answering some of these other things? But yeah, look at AMD. It has been a laggard for sure. It has not gone anywhere, but I wouldn't short this and I wouldn't count it out because what we are starting to see here is we're starting to see it scoop up right there on the daily chart, not to mention double bottom positive divergence. So yeah, I think something's happening here and it's looking like should be soon. In fact, if you guys really want to see, what do we got? Moxie price trigger right there on the hour. Hopefully some of this stuff starts to go up. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. I like to look at GBTC. I know some people maybe have opinions about that, but it works for me. So let's look at GBTC. And then we'll look at the NASDAQ too. Let's see. You had an earlier comment, Oracle, does it look like a second move back to the daily 50? And you meant SRE. Gotcha. Okay. So if we're looking through here as far as Bitcoin goes, well, it's making, it's made new highs. And if we can see in through here, here it is. In fact, let me draw a line here. Because again, just like that Marvell thing, I had you, come on, cursor. There we go. Let's do just a little bit further down. Yeah, right about there. And what do we see? So basically, you can see we've had the previous all-time high, and we have broken out over that. We are in new high territory. And what's it doing? Number one, it's flagging. Okay, it's got to come back down sideways, whatever, to its moving averages. You can see the monthly 10 is trying to catch up, as fast as it can. And so I think Bitcoin is bullish. It's just taking a break, and it's a matter of when. And look at that with Marvell. Look how long Marvell has been going sideways. Look at that with the Dow. Look at that with the IWM. How long have these things been going sideways? They're not bearish. They're just going sideways. And I would make the argument that the same thing is true here on Bitcoin. Not bearish. It's just going sideways, and it's a matter of time. Pick your position. Figure out how long you want to go for. And I think we're just going to have to be okay sitting on some of these things. Yeah, it's kind of dancing around here, but that's okay. You look at Marvell, you look at CLSK, you look at the Dow, they can sit on their weekly 21s for quite some time. Okay. So I wouldn't necessarily count this out. Hey, if it keeps breaking down, okay, so be it. We'll have to see how far this thing wants to go. But I do think this general area should be okay. I was a little bit more excited about it yesterday when Bitcoin actually popped up a bit, but I did caution all the Moxie traders, all of us in the room listening to me about this. I did say that even though I think that this is about the low area, we're not confirmed. Okay, this is just the first time that price is popping up over the hourly 50. We're not there yet. Okay, just like that and just like that. It's too early. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if this low holds. It could go lower. That's fine. But I do think eventually we kind of come down into some support and then we start up again. But look, everybody in the Moxie room, you guys know, what we're looking for on the hourly chart. Okay. This is too early. This is just the first move. We're looking for the second move, and there should be plenty of time. That being said, I think a lot of the cryptos, they popped up pretty strongly this week. Yeah, they're pulling back, but again, I think they're kind of gearing up. Okay, so just we're gonna have to give them a little bit of time, a little bit of wiggle room, and some movement. All right, let's look at D. You're looking at SRE. I don't know how you get Oracle from SRE. That's a pretty big fat finger typo. All right, let's see if my computer is SRE. Is this a Sarepta? SRE. Simpra. That's close. The Simpra Energy. Okay, yeah, Adi, we talked about this before. You commented on it, and yeah, I chatted about this in the chat room. So again, any of you guys on Facebook, YouTube, X, you're wondering what it's like to be in the Moxie room, you're seeing it. I'm just answering all the questions from our subscribers there, all the other fellow traders, and I'm in that chat room all the time. And you guys ask a question, you just ping me, and if I'm not out eating breakfast or something like that, I'll be in the room. I'll come back, answer your questions, and I'm on the mic almost every day, something like that. And yeah, answering questions. So yeah, not looking too bad, right? We had a big move. Look at that. Big move up, got pretty far away from the daily 50. And what's it doing? It's basically flagging back to the daily 50. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that the daily 50 has to hold. It can continue to go down and then up. So while this looks pretty good, you're looking for that actual moment on the hourly chart. And Adi, this could be a lot like gold and silver. They're kind of like flagging, pulling back, and then suddenly they pop. So you'll have to be okay if you're like, I think I just want to be in here and wait. But so far, you can see it's still getting rejected by the hourly 200. The Moxie indicator has not crossed over zero yet. And so I'm looking for that confirmation. Yeah, it looks like there's a level. Hopefully it stays above that level. But anything can happen. It could break. It's not quite ready yet. It still needs to figure out what it wants to do before preferably going higher. And really, yeah, if you look at this, yeah, I guess looking at these, I got to start looking into energy and oil and see if something's going on because, yeah, the energy and oil names are looking pretty good. How about this? Even on the monthly chart, down, 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 pop up, start holding these higher time frames, and right there, that looks pretty good too. So really, it just broke out, and now it's coming back down into support before preferably going higher. Yeah, I'd say everything looking pretty good on that. All right, Emil, let's look at FANG, since that is part of the oil area. We'll see what's going on with the energy space. Not to be mistaken with the FANG stocks. Yeah, and a D. Here, look at this. FANG, a few months ago, looks just like SRE is right now. So you can kind of see the same situation. See how it broke out like this and then came back into the moving average and then kept going. You can see the same here, kind of broke out, pulled back, and then kept going. These are longer term moves, guys. So Emil, I know you're really good with the longer term stuff and hanging in through a trend. So Emil, you might want to thank a D for a new ticker that you might need to look at. That SRE, yeah, it's looking pretty good. In fact, that SRE kind of looks like this portion of FANG, where it's just beginning, popped up, coming into some support. Give it enough time, and it looks to me it's like it's going to continue. But yeah, nice pullback into the weekly 21, nice pullback into the monthly 10. Yeah, these overall trends are looking pretty darn good. Yeah, not too shabby. And a D, if you look here, this is also kind of a good example of what we were seeing with your SRE. Is you see how price kept getting rejected by the 200, and you could see the Moxie indicator was just starting to dance around there, but you could see the whole time the Moxie indicator was going up. And now look at that solid Moxie indicator. There's the test of the 50, and there's the breakout over the 200. That's what you're looking for SRE. Yeah, that's where you want to see if it finally gets going. But until then, we just don't know how far it's going to pull back. All right, Emil, if we look at the QQQ, it's just kind of the same thing as the S&P that we looked at earlier. Basically, things are looking pretty good. In one hand, maybe things getting a little extended, okay, but I do also think we're going to start getting some rotation. It does look to me like the IWM small caps, biotech, that they want to get going at some point, but so far I don't really see any problems here. I wanted to see the NASDAQ and the S&P pull back and build room in order to go bullish this week, and it sure looks to me like they did that. Let me keep letting my computer catch up. I want to zoom in a little bit more on that daily chart. Well, there we go. Okay, so what you can see is too extended, right? It was a little bit too bullish, too extended, jumped up out there, and what did it do? We did get a pullback, and then we went sideways, and now we're up again. And it looks to me there's your double bottom, pretty good, and up here again. I think we're making new highs. We're making new highs. Like, what's not to like about that? Yeah, looking really, really good. And as I said, they needed to figure out a way to make enough room in order to get bullish into the 4th of July. And they did it with that pullback, and then they did it with that Friday to Monday pullback too. Talk about orchestrating everything they needed in order to make this thing go up. And this is what I've been calling for the last 2 weeks, like, hey, bullish into the 4th of July. I hope everybody heard me saying that. And it's been working out for us. We've had some pretty good trades. Really happy about it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to be wrapping up with that. Let me just remind you one of these things. Here we go. If you come over to simplertrading.com/Moxie, and then also on YouTube, and you can check out, I'm going to link this to my YouTube page, which is Profit Pilot for YouTube. You can check out the KE report. We were on this yesterday, talking about quite a few things, having a good time, and talk about precious metals. And then they popped today. So good timing. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get going. Yeah, we're going to go enjoy the nice weather. We put a few trades on this morning, and we even took off 75% gain on Tesla. So I'm going to look around a little bit more, see if there's anything to do. But I guess we actually have only an hour until the market's closed. So let me see if there's any breakfast for me waiting after after this session, and then I'll come back with you guys in a few minutes. All right. I'll see you in a little bit, Moxie Crew. Okay, bye.